ever. Welcome back to the Reeducation Camp podcast. Karen O'Toole joined by Colin Miller today. Colin, it is August 1st, and I just want to start by saying that it is both of our birthdays are
That's right. You're
going to be
next
this
week.
month. Mine's a little bit early, yes. And I was thinking about how, and I know we've kind of discussed how it's August. It's August for everybody. It's not just, I know it's special for us because we are aging into oblivion. But
It's
it's
over.
also pretty much the end of the year. Like it's pretty much like we
Yeah.
have talked in nauseum about how we were going to lock in. And that's
hmm
essentially what we're going to talk a little bit about today about how we are not locking in and how we want to just
There's no
encourage
point now.
everybody. It's time to just lock out. Okay. It's time to just, you're not locking in. The year's over. It's almost the end of summer. Like I was doing pretty good for a little bit, but then I went away on a trip and it's like I just consumed croissants. I didn't get as much riding in. I came back from the trip and on Monday I got up and I was like, I don't even feel like going for a walk. I just want to ride on my phone and drink coffee all day. Like that's all I want to do. So I am no longer locked in. I am locked out. And I
There's
think
there's
that
no point.
that's,
This
yeah,
at this stage
that's,
in the game, it's August 1st. Really, like, are you actually going to do anything worthwhile with your life for the remainder of the year? And the answer is no. The answer is an emphatic no. You are going. We all collectively are just basically just coasting into Christmas. Basically, we're just waiting for we're coasting into Christmas. We're coasting, just barely putting in any effort on ourselves, our families, our jobs, just showing up, putting in the bare minimum effort, like just enough to stay afloat and employed and everything. And that's
and
it.
out of
There's
the
no,
hospital.
yeah,
That's
out of the,
really,
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, health.
that's,
Good health is, we always want that. We don't want any catastrophes, but yeah, that's really the best we can hope for
it's,
is no
it's pretty much
catastrophes.
there. Yeah. Like before you know it, it's going to be Halloween season. It's going to be pumpkin season. It's going to be season of the basic witch.
Next month,
And
basically. That
next
starts
month, yeah,
September
essentially.
1st.
I just went to Dollar General. I like rarely go to Dollar General, not because I'm above going to Dollar General. It's just not conveniently close to me.
You don't want to go to
Um,
mine.
yeah,
I
my
won't tell you why. But
Uh-oh, did
go
you
ahead.
did you have like some kind of situationship with the clerk that works there
No, I don't think I've ever had a situationship like
with the retail associate?
no, I've never had
No,
any sort of
I just meant
situationship.
like maybe you said something awkward or something to the
Mm-mm.
associate. Mine
No, only
is
coworkers.
because yeah, mine I don't go to because it's just like in a location of the town. And it's basically actually when you think about it, the Dollar General is like it's in this old strip mall that is completely uninhabited. Like the Dollar General is the only thing that's like occupies this strip mall. Like everything is gone. It's like that and a coal mining office. Like I swear
God.
on my life, people. I know that if you're listening from the suburbs, that's going to sound like I'm talking from the 1910s. I know it's going to sound like I'm coming at you from a different century, but I kid you not, there used to be a Jamesway and now there is no longer anything. There's no longer a pizza place, there's no longer a gym, there's no longer a store, there's no longer even a discount grocery. There was a discount grocery for a while. It is now just a Dollar General that is packed to the gills. Everything is falling off the shelves. As if you've been to Dollar General, you understand what I'm talking about. And next to that is a coal mining, some kind of office building. That's literally all there is in this
There
strip
used to be
mall.
a
So
Radio
welcome to
Shack there, by the
America.
way.
There used to be a what? A
There
Radio
used to be
Shack
yeah, there
there.
used to be a Radio Shack there. My dad would take me there
Wow.
when I was younger, and we would greet my dad was friends with the manager there, Phil. Everybody knew Phil in
Shout out
there.
to Phil. I'll see
Yeah,
if my
shout out
husband
to
knows Phil. I'm sure he does.
everybody knew Phil. If you've ever been in
Everybody
that Radio
knows
Shack, he
Phil.
was he was the manager and he was like the fixture there. But in any case,
Oh, Dollar General. They have what's called Summerween going on. It's like it's pastel, girly colored Halloween decor. Imagine ghosts and pumpkins.
Hmm.
So I went into the store. It's July. Sure enough, what greets me is Summerween in the Dollar General. So as to your point, it's going to be pumpkin season in a couple weeks. In a couple weeks. So
Yeah.
pumpkin season is then Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving is Christmas. So here we are, people, in consumerist hell. And it's really time to just lock out. It's not time to lock in. It's time to lock out. That was for the beginning of the year. That was when you had hopes, dreams. That's when we thought that Trump was going to release the Epstein files. Newsflash, he
Right.
didn't. Okay. We
Yeah,
tried.
Jeffrey.
We thought things were on the upswing. They're not. The files are not getting released. The cabal is not getting exposed, and we're not locking in. So we're pretty much just like you said, we're
Hey,
just showing up.
not to get too much into politics here, but have you seen Dan Bongino lately? And did you see that one tweet that he made about how
Yes.
he's
Yeah.
seen things? How did he say it? He's seen
He was
things that
saying
he'll.
that the things he's seen that they should it's not acceptable, and we can't run a republic like that. There's a little bit more to it. Obviously this is paraphrased, but yeah. So and yeah, I
Do
don't know
you?
what Dan is seeing behind the scenes. I do not know.
I think he's having some sort of internal struggle. Like, I feel like he knows maybe just how corrupt things are at this point, but he's stuck in it. How's he going to get out? I mean, they
Yeah.
won't. What's he? What is he going to go? Like, can he just quit and go back to hosting a podcast on Rumble? I don't think that's an option. If you know what I mean. I feel like
Yeah.
he's in a situation that he doesn't want to be right now, and he can't say anything, and he just has to
I
kind of stay silent and basically compromise his integrity because he has no choice. Seems like a hostage situation.
It almost does seem, I've heard people speculate that it seems like they've like threatened his family, or he's seen things that are unspeakable. Um, I'm not sure. What if it's Dan Bongino who really teams up with JFK Jr.
It's not going to
and
be
where we
RFK
yeah,
Jr.
sorry, not RFK Jr. Sorry, folks. I meant JFK Jr. Slip of the tongue. But
It's more likely that he'll do it with JFK Jr. actually than it is RFK Jr.
yeah, 100%, 100,000%. But JFK Jr., Dan Bongino, where we go one, we go all.
That's right.
I mean, that's really our only hope, people. Okay. Is that Dan Bongino teams up with JFK Jr., who comes back from the dead. Because
Yeah,
I know this might,
essentially.
I need to get people caught up. Okay. This is like an actual conspiracy. Don't you remember just a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
people were waiting in Dallas on the anniversary of his father's assassination. So, folks, who knows? Who knows what's to come? I've kind of like basically given up trying to, that I've also locked out of. I've locked out
Hey,
of politics. I've locked out of my diet. I've locked out of exercise. I've locked out of getting a new job. I've locked out of accomplishing anything with my life, as
oh
I'm about to
God,
turn
getting a new
35
job.
next week. Yeah, like who cares? Like what's the I am just in an endless summer.
Yeah, well, it really is an endless summer for me all year round. Like basically,
Oh yeah, you're in
it's an
Florida.
endless summer.
Yeah.
I've been living the endless summer for four
Interesting. I wonder
years.
if that affects you. This is not something I thought we were going to discuss today, but this might be a little bit interesting as we're talking about turning a new age, a new year turning over for us. Are you a Leo?
No, I'm a Virgo.
Okay, okay. I know because
What
you
are
know we're
you?
basic witches. I'm a Leo.
Okay.
So, but I wonder if having grown up in Pennsylvania, where we have the changing of the seasons and you feel the passing of time, I feel like it helps you feel the passing of time. Do you think that Florida has, living in Florida, living in essentially the swamp lands and the Everglades? I know that's not really where you live, but
No, I'm pretty
living
far
with the
north.
prehistoric animals in the tropical summer that is Florida, do you feel that it's affected your understanding of time? Do you think that it's warped your the passing of time for you? That's really I'm really curious.
I feel like I don't think it has anything to do with Florida. I think that time, you hear a lot of people saying how fast the time goes by now. And I was always told growing up like, "Oh, that's just how it is when you get older." I don't think that's what it is at all. I firmly believe that something happened in the space-time continuum that actually did speed up time. Like it's not just getting older. Something is wrong. Time is going by way too fast and everybody is noticing it. Everybody's noticing it.
Interesting. So I have a sister who's 20 years younger than me. I will report back because I will be driving with her next week. And so
Mhm.
maybe when we are conversing and she is telling me about whatever teeny bopper thing that she is obsessed with at the moment for 2 hours, I will also ask her that question. But I think it's interesting. I would like to ask her that question and kind of think about it because I know she's been really bored recently. So I would think that if you're a bored teeny bopper, you would be like, oh no, everything's so slow. It's taking forever. I just want to grow up. I'm curious to see what she has to say because I have a warped understanding, but I feel well, the Earth has changed its axis recently on its axis. So that might have something to do with it. I'm just kidding. I'm not a physicist and I don't understand these things. But I do feel like most people believe post 2020, that is how a lot of people feel. I feel like after the COVID lockdowns, a lot of people have felt like time does not, they're not relating to time the same way that they once did. That's changed.
Correct.
But like I said, it's so hard for me to I understand. It's interesting because it's hard for me to know if that's just the way I feel because I'm going to be 35. I turned 30 in 2020, which 30 is a big, monumentous birthday. So I think a lot of people I know when I turned 30, I had people, I had a family member who had a death to her youth 2 years before me when she turned 30. I've seen multiple people like have this party where it's like their death to their youth when they
That's
turn
such a
30.
stupid girl thing.
Yeah,
Only
well,
like it's so
I was
dumb.
just happy to be alive. I was happy to make it to 30 after the year I
Right.
had. But like I said, for me, it's like, oh, did the last 5 years fly by or did I just get into my 30s? And that's how, I mean, you're not that much older than me. So I'm sure it
Just a
kind of feels
year.
a little similar. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of very similar age. I'm like right on that 2020 mark where I turned 30. So I don't know. It's hard to know if it's just my perception. But I do think to your point, there's a lot of people that feel like everything has time has changed. But also part of it is, Colin, I think a really good example of is it time that has changed or is it the way we fill our time? Because think about how much the screens
Hmm.
have become a part of our everyday existence. You're no
Yeah,
longer
it's a
bored.
cancer.
You're not bored like you were when you were a kid. Think about that when you perceive time. When you would sit in a line at the post office or sit in, I mean, who goes to the post office anymore? Because you have email, you don't even need it. I'm just kidding. I know some of us go to the post office sometimes. But if you're sitting in line at the grocery store, when you were 20 years old, when you were 5 years old, when you were 25 years old, you sat and you waited in line. But then
Right.
the cell phones became ever present in our lives. And now you're filling your time looking at the phone. So time is passing. It seems as if time is moving faster, but it's not truly moving faster. It's just that you're never getting bored and you're never, as Ferris Bueller said, you're never stopping to look around every once in a while. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
I was
do you
gonna
think?
say that's a very plausible theory, Scully. I feel like that's a very Scully like sort of like
Yeah.
rational, logical explanation, whereas I am taking the kind of
Mulder
alternate,
approach.
yeah, the Mulder approach that I think it's a bit more than that. I think
Okay.
something happened.
The
I can't
space-time
say what that
continuum.
was. Yeah, something with the space-time continuum.
Yeah. I
You
appreciate that you respect my theory though.
Oh, I do because you have to one of us has to be grounded here.
Sane.
Yeah, exactly. Did you hear about that object that's hurtling towards Earth? It's going to arrive here in like I think 2027. It's 7 miles wide. This Harvard scientist or
Oh.
astronomer said it could be an alien spacecraft. I don't know if you
Oh, thank
Disappeared on the
God.
radar.
Thank God we're
I know.
getting
I
out of
hope
here.
so. I hope so. No, but seriously, this Harvard astronomer. I have to look this up now. I have to get the guy's name. Of course, my mouse is dead. It's hooked up to the USB right now. These Apple mouses are the worst design ever. I'm sorry. I'm like,
Did he mention something about the shape of it at all? Or
yeah, yeah. It has something to do with the size of it. He doesn't think that it could be coming. AV Loeb. That's the guy. AV
is
or
it Avi?
Avi Loeb. Yeah, interstellar comet or alien tech. And this is from the Times of India. I don't know how reputable that paper is. Well, yeah, astronomer says the object approaching us from beyond the solar system is not what we think. Yeah, just anyway, he thinks it's an alien spacecraft, and apparently it's 7 miles wide, and he doesn't think it could possibly be a natural occurrence just because of this like straight trajectory towards Earth. Like it's just hurtling at a very rapid speed towards Earth. And I wish it could be something because the thing is, nothing ever really happens. Have you ever heard of that? The nothing ever happens guy. Have you ever seen that meme? It's so true.
I don't know. I feel like we are that meme. I feel like we're
Yeah,
the ones that
yeah.
always say
Nothing
it.
is really
I didn't
ever.
know anybody else made this observation besides us. It's like, eh. Well,
Yeah,
it's oddly enough you say that, and I think this kind of almost relates to the passing of time. So, as I mentioned in the past,
you're
I
like
have,
Kamala
yeah,
with the passing of time. I'm sorry.
but like I what is it? I work in the news industry, and it occurred to me recently. I was thinking about like the big news items that I feel like really changed the world we live in or our perception of the world. And I was thinking, okay, 9/11, I'd say the 2008 financial crisis and COVID. And then
Hmm.
I thought to myself, what has really mattered? Like when I sit down and think about it, what are the things that actually I think it was a good use of my time to educate myself or be informed about any of these other news topics that I'm not going to say issues. I'm not going to say like I'll make this. The point is pretty much nothing. Pretty much nothing has really. And what
No,
I do want to make, I want to make the I just want to specify that I'm not saying about like, okay, Palantir taking all of our data. I'm not talking about the surveillance state. I'm not talking about like Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. I'm talking about what actually dominates the news cycle. So if there's something that you're actually interested in or you really feel strongly about and you feel like you need to inform yourself, you need to be a good voter or you need to advocate for or instruct other people on. I like we, we've made the joke about like Whitney. I'm not talking to Whitney Webb, but I'm talking about the day-to-day news cycle. I can't really think of anything that was really that life altering or earth shattering that people really needed to dedicate their time. And I'm not saying that you can't check in once a day or like read the newspaper or something or like what I'm saying is reading the newspaper once a day is much healthier than what we have now
that's what
where
people used to do.
yeah,
They would read the morning paper or whatever with their coffee, and like that was how they got their information and their news,
yeah.
and that was that.
I just what I'm saying is I don't think that there's any news stories that outside of those three that really called upon us or required of us to like be glued to our screens 24/7.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like I'm trying to
Yeah.
say that, yeah, but that's how it is. Everybody is like glued every night you are tuning into Fox News or you're checking X and you're not really better informed. Like you're just entertained as to what we were talking about before, you're just filling time. Like you're just filling time, distracting yourself from what you should actually be focused on. And like it's not, outside of those three big events, I'm like, I don't really think anything else that we were covering was really that important. Like it wasn't really, and by and large, the real the real meat and potatoes that we need to be learning about are completely obscured by the media, and they focus on, like I said, the rise of like the surveillance state has come gone almost virtually unnoticed, while they're telling us about like I don't know, like the Kardashians. Do you get like, does that, like, that is, it's really like we have so much information, but we are so much less informed than we ever were. But we think we're so informed. We think that we know everything, but truly, like, we've completely lost the plot. It's
I feel like we're
um
all exhausted now too. I feel like
yes.
more
And
like
I think that, yeah, I think
we're
that
all
that
just
has to
sort
do
of
with it.
like over everything. Like there's nothing that could really even hold our attention at this point.
No, it only holds people's attention. I mean, look at the, like I've talked about that before, like the Ukraine war. The beginning, oh yeah, we have all these Ukrainian flags. I saw Ukrainian flags everywhere. Within a year, I will say, within a year, I didn't see any of those Ukrainian flags anymore. Well, like what happened here? The war's still going on,
You
still
know, Donald
happening.
Trump was supposed to end that war
Day one,
in
one day.
24 hours before he even took office. And I saw something today how he's sending nuclear submarines
The
towards
summer, yeah.
Russia. Is that accurate? I
Those
just
are,
saw
and
a
by the way,
blurb
those are
about it.
nuclear powered submarines. I want to make that like, I don't think that they're
Like
nuclear
they don't have
weaponry.
ICBMs inside them.
I don't, well, we'll see.
Maybe they do. I mean,
Yeah, we will see.
Putin is like, I think Putin basically knows that he's not actually going to do anything. You know, like I don't think Putin cares. Putin's like, hey, listen, I've got a good summer offensive going on right now, and we're really kind of, they're taking a lot of land. They're doing good in this war now with this summer offensive. So it's not like Putin's gonna, like Trump gave them 10 days now, but if Putin's winning, like why would he stop now? And Trump's not going to do anything.
Yeah,
So
Trump is not locking in. He's
no,
not.
no,
Yeah,
Trump's not
Putin
locked in. He
is.
doesn't
Putin
care.
is locked
Yeah,
in.
Putin is locked in. We're Trump. We are Americans. We're Trump. We are not locked in like
Maybe it's
the
time
Russian
for
people are.
America as a collective to lock out. Like maybe it's time, like we were locked in for what, like over 250 years. It's really time for another, like it's time for the Chinese to lock in. It's time for us to lock out.
I think,
And
well,
yeah, like we're
that's
done. We're
probably in the
done
near
locking
future.
in. We all know that nobody wants to work anymore, and it's time to lock out. It's not time to lock in. Like it's like we look at all these other empires, like you look at the Roman Empire, you look at the Portuguese, you look at the British Empire just gave up one of its faraway Pacific islands. So now next year for 120 days the sun is going to set on the British Empire, an empire that the sun never set on, and now it is going to set. So like you see the British, they've locked out. They locked out a while ago, probably
Yeah,
when we beat them in the revolution. And like we had a good run. We locked in for 200 some years. I mean, it's the anniversary next year. So yeah, I think
that's
it's
right.
time to just, it's we had a good run. It's time to lock out. But these people keep trying to make us lock in. Like they're all locking. Like Jeff Bezos is locking in, but like they're not helping us lock in. Like
Yeah, no. No, the majority of the public is locked out. The
we're
tech
literally locked out.
oligarchs and
Yeah.
yeah, they're the ones who are locked in.
Yeah, they're
And
like, just have 25 children like us. No big deal. Like, what's wrong with
right.
you people? We need to raise new consumers to buy the stuff that makes us rich. So just have more consumers. Just raise more little goods consumers. Because that's what I had this like thought recently. I was in Annapolis, Maryland, walking around. And I said to my husband, I'm like, do you realize that like so many people do not raise children? They just raise consumers. Like they are just consumers, and then they just raise consumers. Like, and I'm not talking about like, obviously we all need to consume food. I'm not saying, I mean, like, you get it. People, listen, if you
Yeah,
listen to the show, if you listen this long, you understand what I'm saying. I'm talking about just needless junk, just the stupid McMansion. You get what I mean? Like just the newest, latest and greatest, the whatever, the Range Rover, the Pilates class, the Lululemon pants, special Nike cleats. Like
the
that's
crack
all you're
pipe,
living for, the
the
crack
bong,
pipe.
you know, stuff
We're not
like
talking
that.
about the
Excess.
Bidens here, okay?
Yeah, no. Did,
But yeah, like people don't really, they're just like, okay, like I just need these kids to just and that's what I'm saying. We have no longer locked in. We're just here to live good lives, and we're not even getting that anymore in the
no, they're
United
not even really
States.
saying to raise consumers though. They're saying don't have kids. They're saying we need the H1Bs. We need the H1Bs
You're
now,
right. You're kind of
so
right. They're
we can
like,
bring in people
you
from
people
China
that,
and India
yeah.
who are
Yeah.
better and smarter and
And don't
brighter
watch
than
Saved by the
you.
Bell.
Right. They don't watch Saved by the Bell. They're at home. They're at piano recital. They're not at the volleyball game or whatever it is, you know. They're locked
Listen, and
in.
here's the truth. They're never going to be as cool as we are. Okay. Like, let's
No,
be
no,
real.
that's the thing. They
Like,
will
we're not, yeah. Like, do we go to India for like cool culture? No, we go to the bimbos in California. Okay. Like, they set the culture.
right. And speaking of culture, listen, I have to say this. This has been a very tough week for me due to the
Oh,
passing of Ozzy
yes.
Osbourne. And
Yes.
the
And
that and Hulk Hogan, by the way. Hulk Hogan as well
yes.
too, but
Yes.
Ozzy hit me the most because it was like another piece of our culture. And Ozzy was Western culture, by the way. Ozzy, like everybody knew who Ozzy Osbourne was. Everybody had a lot of us grew up with them. I feel like the majority of millennials and people our age probably knew him as a TV star first, but
Isn't
I was
funny,
a
right?
yeah, I thought the Osbournes was hilarious. I still
Oh,
watch.
the first season is magic. I thought about
Yeah,
rewatching it.
it's
It's really, it is magic because
yeah. I'm glad you agree.
yes, yeah. If we could just talk about it real quick, the
Please,
greatness
let's talk
of
about it.
that first season is that the Osborne kids were not cool. They were not popular. They were not
No, they
respected. They
weren't
were made
good-looking
fun of.
kids.
They were bullied. And then you see Ozzy, who's just like this, supposed to be like the Prince of Evil, and he's like tuning in. I'll never forget watching him watch like TBN or something. Like he was watching like some
Hmm.
kind of Jesus preacher.
Yeah,
And hey, my prayers, I hope the best for Ozzy. I hope that some of that stuff community, I hope that he gave his life to Christ and repented. But I do
he
feel
may
like
have.
there's I feel like he may have. I feel like he genuinely, we know Hulk Hogan was sharing the gospel
Well,
a
have you heard
lot
of
in
that
the last
story?
couple years.
Yeah, Hulk definitely was. He was a believer, but there was a recent story. I don't know if you're familiar with he's like an evangelist, Dylan Novak, and his whole
Okay.
shtick is that he evangelizes. Is that the right word? He gives celebrities a copy of the gospel, and he tells a pretty cool story. I encourage you to look it up on YouTube. Just type in like Ozzy Osbourne gets the Bible or something like that. But anyway, he gave Ozzy a Bible because Ozzy, in the one interview that he did a few years back, they were asking him about like what's his religion, and he said what he said was he said, well, basically I'm a Christian. That's how I was raised, and blah blah blah. And they asked him if he read the Bible, and he said, "Well, no, because it's in a language that I don't understand. I can't comprehend it. It does. I'd like to, but I don't understand it." So this guy, this celebrity
Dylan.
evangelist, gave him a copy. I think it was like the New American Study
Maybe
Bible, and
okay,
it's
yeah, or the
written
New
in like
Living
a
Translation. Yeah, there's some
yeah,
like yeah, like easier to understand
yeah.
translations. Yeah.
And apparently Ozzy just loved this Bible and he wouldn't go anywhere without this Bible. He would have it on his like bedside. And Jack Osborne even told this guy that at like another event. He said, "Hey, let me tell you, my dad, everybody who comes in the house has to see his beautiful Bible that he got." So I thought that was a pretty neat story. So anyway, who knows what
Yeah, who
Ozzy's
knows? But like you said, it was a fun show. It was really magical because they were just like these like outcasts kind of like in that. And then obviously the next couple seasons they kind of became, I think that's really the beauty of a lot of the beginning of reality TV. That's why what made it fun and special is because originally they were just normal. A lot of times we were just seeing normal people and they just acted as themselves and they didn't realize that they were going to be like famous from it. Like they didn't realize they were just very genuine, and that's what just made it fun. I think that's kind
Yeah.
of what people enjoyed first about like YouTube and about influencers and like Instagram. Like it has now jumped the shark because people recognize their fame. But when it first started, it was just always so authentic, and it was just people being real and themselves, which is interesting because I think that that's what we're so much seeking after as a culture. Like we're so bombarded with these like fake faces and these fake lives and these fake emotions and fake words. And really, like people genuinely want something real. Like they don't want all of this inauthenticity that's lie, that's they claim is their authentic selves, but everything's filtered, everything's curated, everything's aesthetic. But what people are really seeking after is like something real and something raw. And
That's why
unfortunately,
people liked
that's yeah.
Ozzy, and that's why they liked
Yeah.
the Osbournes
Yeah.
because
He was
it
very,
was
like you said,
real.
Ozzy was very, very,
He
I
was
don't think
just
he was impacted by the fame at all. Like he didn't seem like
no.
I mean, obviously he was famous when he was younger, so he kind of already had moved probably past
Yeah.
that by that time.
Now we come from different musical backgrounds, so I don't know how familiar you are with Ozzy's solo stuff or Black Sabbath. I don't know if you've ever partaken in listening to any
I
old
have
Black Sabbath.
I have listened to it, and not I wouldn't say I'm like an expert. And my
Mm-hmm.
first marching band experience actually the music was Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, so
What was it like, Crazy Train? Okay.
Crazy Train was the first
Yeah.
song I did in marching band in high school. So there's a little affinity there. But yeah, I wouldn't say I know you are definitely better versed in
Well, I
Black
was
Sabbath and Ozzy
really
Osbourne.
well when you grow up and you're learning electric guitar. I mean, I was learning a lot of like Ozzy and Black Sabbath stuff early on, and I was obsessed. I was more of a fan of Ozzy's solo stuff because I was really obsessed with this one guitar player that he had. I don't know if you're familiar with Randy Rhoads, if you've ever heard of
That
that.
name's really familiar, so I don't
Well,
know.
he died in a plane crash actually, right in the
Okay.
middle of Ozzy's 1982 tour, like very close to where I live actually. This plane crashed and it clipped the tour bus and crashed into a house, and he was only 25 years old, and this was just
Wow.
like a joyride that they were doing because they were stopped somewhere in Florida, and the bus driver was also a pilot. But anyway, he died at 25, and he was just a brilliant, very influential guitarist in the hard rock, heavy metal world. So that's primarily why I was a fan of Ozzy's music. He always worked with really good guitar players, but I'll tell you what, go back. You have to go back. You have to listen to like the 1970 Black Sabbath album Paranoid. The lyrics are so like they're very political, very lyrics of the time because I mean Vietnam was still going on at that point. You should check out some of that Black Sabbath stuff. I think that you might appreciate it on a certain level because it's very bluesy. It's very
Okay.
like I wouldn't even call it heavy metal by today's standards. It's just like very like just darker rhythm and blues sort of music.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I feel like about like a lot of like even Iron Maiden doesn't even feel like heavy metal to me
yeah,
anymore. When you compare it to like some of the stuff that's come out that's like just noise. Like
yeah,
Iron
I never
Maiden's
got
like
into that.
good. Like it's like melodic at this
Yeah,
point. You're like, oh, Iron
exactly.
Maiden's great. Yeah. Like I'd much
Exactly.
rather listen to that than whatever this like screaming, like just noise
I
coming
never
at
jived
me.
with
Yeah.
that.
No, I don't jive. I
I
like
was
some
more of a
melodies.
classic guy.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
melodies. Yeah, that's the way. And you know me, Bob Dylan over here. I know it's
Yeah,
much to
you're a
your
big Bob.
chagrin.
I just don't I
It's
don't get
okay.
it. I just
It's
don't get
okay.
it. And
It's
because of
okay.
that one girl. Mainly because of the one girl that I told you about. Mainly because of that. But I'm sure you
I know, isn't it
understand.
the worst when somebody like just completely ruins like a whole genre, a whole person, a whole musical artist, a show, a movie, just because they're just a
Yeah.
wretched creature and they just it's I know we should, and it's hard because like I know we should move on from that. but it's just there's that
Do
it
we
like it
ever
just
move on?
taints
Do we
it.
ever truly
Do
move
we?
on?
No, we
I'm not
never
so
do move
sure.
on. I'm just saying I think that we should be more mature about it, but there's something always tainted by that just that by that I don't want to say individual, but the just the kind of
That
you
the whole
know
situation at the
yeah.
time, each of these
Yes.
situations has a certain feeling.
Just their relation to it. It just
Right.
once it just becomes tainted. And I know there's people that understand what we're talking about. I know we're not the
Oh,
only
there's plenty of people who
lunatics.
understand. No, absolutely. No, people get that if there's a certain energy that's left behind, and you can feel it, and you associate it with that thing. But anyway, I don't even know. I don't. We were talking about the culture dying. I brought up Ozzy Osbourne. I'm not even sure
Well,
where we were
yeah,
going with
I think
this.
we could probably wrap things up. I think I wanted to talk about, and we can probably maybe talk about this another episode. A lot of times we do this where I think we're going to talk about something, but I do have a topic. Maybe I'll just, I think maybe we should just tease it a little bit. But I'd love to talk about maybe next week we could talk about how as millennials, as we were aging, we kind of were fed an idea of what our lives would be like via media. And I think that this is also, obviously, it's always happened in every generation. I think the Gen Z definitely, they had even more media than we did. And the next generation is even more so than us. But I think that millennials, we're unique in that a lot of the media was specifically made for children. It was marketed towards children. And I feel like also we are at a point, Gen Z is younger than us. We are in our nihilistic 30s. So we are able to actually
Correct.
say like, hey, guess what, Gen Z? All of your hopes and dreams that the media brainwashed you to believe, they're not going to come true. So just get with the times.
It's not
But
real.
do you understand? So I think it would be interesting to talk about. So if anybody has well, yeah, we will leave it up to our listeners. If there's any, I think for a good example is I know a lot of girls grew up watching the Gilmore Girls, and I personally always thought the show was really dumb, and I feel redeemed because I feel like a lot of the Gilmore Girls fans agree with me now. They see what I saw in the main character, Rory, which was an entitled brat, okay? And I was right. So, but just that's a good example. I think a lot of girls watch that and they're like, I'm going to be like that. Or they watched like Sex in the City and they were like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to be a writer and have all this wonderful wardrobe in this beautiful penthouse apartment, of course. So I'm just curious. I don't know from the men's perspective, what shows kind of put ideations in your mind about what your
I might
future
be the
would be
wrong person to
like.
ask actually, because I was always a little bit off the beaten path, off the wall.
I
I was
feel
into
like I was
older
off the
stuff.
beaten path too. I feel like I was off the beaten path as well. But I do feel like I still feel like we both know that there was, even if we didn't recognize it, think about it a little bit. There were definitely subtle, subconscious, subliminal messages that you picked up on, whether or not you liked it, like whether or not you recognize it. So just think about it a little bit. What you
I was
thought.
just very certain that I wasn't going to have to work. That's what I was certain of. I at
Oh
no
yeah.
point was like working going to be part of my life, or like having to worry
Yes.
about a
Yeah.
job,
So
or
well, yeah, that's
didn't
also a good
compute.
example, even if it's not like from the media per se, but just like these ideas that were kind of somehow they could have been from a parent, from a teacher, from an educational system, from the media, just how what you thought life was going to be from these outside sources versus like the expectations you had versus how things have actually played out. I'm not even just talking about the media. Society has changed so much,
Hmm.
just that in general. So, I'd like to get into that, dig into that topic next week. So, yeah,
Yeah.
until then, yeah, I
Well,
think it'll be
we're gonna
fun.
come back. Listen, we're gonna be locked in next week. I
We're
know this
locked
was sort
in.
of a
We're,
this was sort of a meandering kind of episode, but we're gonna be locked in next week, and there's gonna be
of
some
course.
exciting things down the road. So we'll
We are
see
just,
you then.
yeah, yeah, locked in. Lock in and lock out, guys.
Yeah. Later.